In today's video, we're going to be talking about the most rare, yet somehow the most common Polaroid camera ever made. That guy right there. You can't see it. It's invisible. That's because it's clear. See what I did there? It's clear. Let's get into it.
I'm just another Chris.
This is like the Invisible Woman's Polaroid camera, or Wonder Woman's Polaroid camera, if you really think about it. This right here is actually probably one of, if not the most rarest Polaroid camera ever. But you probably know about it, so it kind of makes it common. But before we dive into all of the history, how you can get your hands on this exact camera, how much this thing is worth, all the cool specs and things, let's head on out and shoot some photos and see what we can get with this thing. Just kidding. Hang on. Yeah, so you can't actually shoot with this camera. It is just for a display only. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would Polaroid go to the trouble to make a completely clear camera and you can't even take pictures with it? What were they thinking? Well, that's because this wasn't released to the public. You couldn't go buy one of these. In fact, there's not an exact known number of how many of these were actually produced. There's estimated to be maybe only a few hundred of them in existence, which makes this thing a really unique collector's piece. However, what was it for? Why did Polaroid even make it in the first place? Because back in the day when there would be trade shows or camera stores, they were trying to sell Polaroid 660 cameras. Like this one. This is the same camera. They were trying to sell these. So they were trying to show you how the camera works. So you made a clear version so you can see the inner workings and understand how the camera actually functions. But this was the one that you could actually buy. It's the same exact camera, other than this one you can actually load up and shoot photos. And when I went out to fake mock shoot with this, I noticed something on this camera that I didn't know this one even had. And that is right below the viewfinder, you can see your exposure compensation. It's much, much more difficult to actually see versus with the clear one. And you look through it, it is clear as day. See what I did there? That there's exposure compensation, which I didn't know that actually was there to begin with. It's really cool. It's such a cool piece. I tried to get some shots of this in slow motion, but it's not really, it didn't really work. But this has autofocus or zone focusing. And when you take your shots, you can actually see how the lenses are chosen and fired. And I think that's really cool. I've always wondered how it worked, and I got to see it happen. Pretty sweet. Now, there's actually some people out there that have been able to make these work. I was talking with somebody recently, and they said they knew somebody that modified a film pack where you could load it in and it light sealed it, and you could take your shots and actually utilize the camera, because it does function, it does work. But once you put your film inside the camera, there's obviously light's going to be getting in there. So it's cool to see that people have been able to make these work. I really do want this. It's a cool piece of Polaroid history, visual representation of how a Polaroid camera operates. I just think it's really fascinating and really awesome. So going back to how you get your hands on this exact camera. This camera isn't mine. I would love to own this, but unfortunately, it's a little pricey. And I'm helping somebody out selling this. And in fact, you've seen her on the channel before, about last year in maybe 2 videos. Her name is Heather. We went to Disneyland. We dressed up as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., took some photos with that printer briefcase. So much fun. And I think she was in another video, Pack Film. She was in the Pack Film video. I released that this year, actually. Well, this is hers, and she's looking to sell it. I'm just glad I got to finally hold one, mess with it, look at it. It's so cool. Man, I would love to own this, but it is kind of expensive. These will range wildly in prices. Don't go to Retrospect and buy these, please, people. I've seen Retrospect sell these for like $2,000. That's not what they're worth, honestly. They're way overpriced over there. Realistically, these are worth around $1,200. maybe on a quote good day, if you're a seller that is, $1,500. But realistically, this is worth about $1,200. So if you want to get yourself a sweet, awesome, pretty much the rarest camera ever made and on a piece of Polaroid history, you can check out the links in the description below. I'll leave a link to her Instagram to get in contact with her directly, or if you want, you can message me as well, and I can see about getting this into your hands. Still, I'm in awe of just how cool this actually is. Wow. But thank you so much for watching today's video. That's all I got for you. I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out there. Make some art.